the entertainment talking sports.
What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. Hope everybody's staying safe out there. And in this video, I'm going to break down some of the quotes of Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones talking to the media today via Zoom call, talking about the way they're handling the offseason, with the coaches, the staff, everything else, how they've had to deal with everything with the pandemic. And we'll jump into some of that. Barkley talked a little bit about his contract. Daniel Jones talked about a lot of things. So I'm excited to jump into all that. In addition to that, one thing I've continued to say I'm going to do, anyone that is interested, I'm going to put the link to my Discord in the description below. I'll also put it in the pinned comment. Anybody interested in joining that, I do a voice chat once a week. It's usually Monday from 9:30 p.m. to 11. Tonight, I'll be doing it from 9:30 to 11 tonight because Monday I had a member stream. But normally it'll be on Monday. So if you want to come by for that, you're more than welcome to. It's basically just a chat room for any of you guys that do not know what a Discord is. But let's jump into some of the quotes from both Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones talking about the roles on the offense this year and how they're handling the offseason for the New York Giants. We got a lot of quotes to get to. We're going to go through them as quickly as we can. First one from Dan Salomon. Saquon on first impression of Joe Judge. He's detailed. He's setting the standard. He talks, you listen. I mean, perfect. Perfect quote from Saquon Barkley. And I mean, that describes Joe Judge to a T. Matter of fact, my subscribers write that on half my videos. Next quote. How does Saquon stay in shape? He's fortunate to have his own gym set up. I'm not really missing a beat. He later went on to say, according to Dan Salomon, didn't pull up the quote, that he actually thinks the players are paying more attention to the offseason work due to the fact that they're forced to stay at home and focus on the computer screen. So that was an interesting point that Barkley brought up as well. Next quote. Giants Barkley on the McCaffrey contract. I always feel like I have something to prove, not only for myself, but for my team. Says he was happy for McCaffrey to get the deal. He deserves it. I'm a big believer in taking care of the little things first. And, of course, he was asked that because Saquon Barkley is coming up on the conclusion of his third year. McCaffrey's 3 years in the league. McCaffrey came off a huge year last year, and they're asking him that based on the assumption that he will more than likely have a huge third year. And what does he think of the deal? And they wanted to try to see if he would say that he expects to make more or on par with what McCaffrey had to make. And at the end of the day, Giants fans, McCaffrey made a record-breaking contract. Expect Saquon Barkley, if he stays healthy this year, to break it. And I expect the Giants to extend him sooner than later. Next quote. Daniel Jones on Andrew Thomas and the strengthened offensive line. I'm excited to get to work with those guys. They're coming in, and I think they understand the responsibility that they have. And yeah, of course, I mean, as a quarterback, your best friend is your offensive line. There's a reason that the quarterbacks always buy the strong offensive lines. I remember reading stories about Dan Marino growing up as a kid. He'd buy his offensive lineman gold watches every year. Daniel Jones' livelihood and progression as an NFL quarterback is going to depend on those five guys up at the line of scrimmage. So I'm sure he's excited about it. Next thing, Daniel Jones, it's our team. I don't know if it's one guy's team. When he was asked about whether or not he feels like he's taking over the team, sounds a lot like Joe Judge and the message he's trying to portray throughout the New York Giants organization. Daniel Jones is saying, not my team, it's our team. And that's a great way to go about thinking about things. Next thing. Daniel Jones says it's a great working experience with Jason Garrett and Jerry Shaplinski because of their experience. Garrett's background as a player in the NFL is a huge benefit, Jones says. So Jones already talking about how he's getting off on the right foot, learning the new playbook. We'll get into more quotes regarding that. Didn't pull up one about Tony Romo. He also said he's talked briefly to Tony Romo about the system that was implemented in Dallas. Has not gotten a chance to really, go over the playbook with him, but he intends to do that as well. Next quote. On Cooper Rush, he's been great to have. He understands the system, and he has been able to answer a lot of our questions and helping speed up the learning process. And that alone, to me, was worth the waiver acquisition in itself, especially in a year like this. You know what I'm saying? When it's not a traditional offseason. You're trying to learn as much as you can in a weird environment. And to have a guy that knows the playbook as well as Rush does, being that he was a backup quarterback for the Cowboys for 3 years, he is a perfect guy to have in this situation for Daniel Jones. Next quote. Daniel Jones admits last year was a little bit awkward with Eli, but they did the best to make it work. He thought it was a huge advantage being able to learn from him. So, he's basically saying what Eli said. Eli said the same thing. I did a video on that, I don't know, a couple of days ago, where Eli said that he thought it was really weird between him and Daniel Jones, knowing that Daniel Jones was going to be taking over the job sooner than later. And Daniel Jones admits that here. But he does also go on to say that it was a huge advantage being able to learn from him. Of course, he's going to say that, but I do think that is probably the case. Next up, Giants Jones on what he's working on. Ball security, particularly in the pocket, protecting the ball. Says it's a fairly simple fix. Just have to keep two hands on it and doing drills to practice it. And we'll see if it's a simple fix. That should be the thing he's working on more than anything right now. He also had quotes that I didn't pull up that he was talking about how he's practicing in a controlled environment throwing the football. But that is what he should be focusing on more than anything. Making sure he protects the ball this year. He had 18 fumbles last year, the fifth most in the history of football for a single season and only 12 starts. That's something that needs to be improved dramatically this year, and it's something I expect that he will improve with the offensive line and his attention to detail. We all know he's a very hard worker. Next thing, Daniel Jones. We have a lot of guys on the team who are leaders. I feel that responsibility, that's something I need to take seriously. So then there he is again. When he was asked earlier, he praised his team as a whole. He's doing the same thing here. When asked, is he going to be the leader of this team? He said, we got a lot of guys who are leaders. We got Jabril Peppers. We got Saquon Barkley. We got a lot of guys with some experience that are leaders on this football team. I am going to be one of the leaders. And if somebody deems that I'm the captain and I'm one of the leaders, I'm going to take that incredibly seriously. So good stuff there from Jones. And then finally, quarterback Daniel Jones. We're adjusting to different circumstances. I think the guys are picking up the system. And, just want to pull up all those quotes for you guys, some of the things that both Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley had to say about, the way they're handling everything right now in the offseason with all the challenges they've had to face, talking about the system, picking things up, and making sure that they stay in shape. So some very telling quotes coming from both Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. As always, guys, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe, drop a comment, maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.